If you find yourself just sitting back, checking in with Rightmove once a day, you're doing about 5% of what you need to be doing. But when you have got offers out, that's the time to go, great, my offers are out. What do I do next? Go back and view some more properties.
They get so task orientated and so committed that everything else stops. We've all had deals pulled from under us. And yeah, when you haven't got a pipeline to look back at, it's a bit like, oh, right, I've just wasted a bit of time there. It's not goodwill, but I lost a bit of momentum.
Just having a chat with someone in like a sandwich shop or coffee shop leads to opportunities.
We are natural recruiters. We like to put a solution with an answer. I always recommend people to get their hair cut or their legs waxed or their eyebrows done in their investment area to talk to the people that are doing that.
You've just got to keep that rolling, keep that going and building that pipeline. And there'll be more organised investors than you will pick them up. Building wealth through property isn't about chasing big deals and paydays. It's about owning assets that make money for you consistently. But figuring it all out on your own, that's where most people get stuck. That's why we created this Property Life membership. It's everything we wish we had when we started. Expert guidance, real-world case studies, and a private community of investors actually doing deals, not just talking about them. So you could spend years trying to piece it all together yourself, or you could plug into a system that's already working for our community. Check out our membership page at This Property Life. Everything you need to know is right there. Success is a team sport. Come join in. Hi and welcome to This Property Life. I'm Nick Claydon and I'm here today with Sarah and Sarah Blaney, and we are going to be doing another one of our kind of how-to, little mini how-to episodes on the podcast. So, hi Sarah.
Quick heads up before we start the show. If you're serious about buy-to-let investing in 2025, you're going to need to know where to invest. Luckily for you, we've helped countless investors find their goldmine area. And we've put together our free 2025 Buy-to-Let Hotspots Guide. It's packed full of insider tips, market trends, and of course, the top 10 UK rental gold mines. So head to our link in the description below and start investing smart.
Hi, Nick. So yes, we have already covered what to do in your investment area for the first time. Then we've moved on to property viewings and how to get the best out of those property viewings. What was our third one?
It was cheeky offers. And are they really cheeky? So how to make offers essentially, and just without upsetting anybody.
Yes. Yeah, because that's important. You don't want to burn bridges. So the fourth one in our little how-to series is going to be about pipeline, I believe.
Yeah. So kind of what next? You've
Yeah.
been out there, you've done your viewings, you put your offers in. Let's say you've had an offer accepted. It's kind of like, what happens next? Now, in my experience of their investment areas, it's quite tempting for a lot of people new to property to kind of forget everything that they've done leading up to that point and kind of just switch all focus from doing all the things they did to get an offer accepted to just, oh, I've got a house now. And the whole focus switches to that and they forget about everything they did.
Yeah, I reckon 95% of people, especially when they're starting out, do exactly that. They get so task orientated and so, I guess, committed to that deal that everything else stops. And what is the danger of that?
Your agents forget you. You know, you might think you've done all the work and they will remember you and pass everything, but they won't. If you stop going to see them, they'll kind of forget about you. And kind of all the good work that you've done kind of grinds to a halt and the phone stops ringing. Meanwhile, your focus has switched to, oh, I've got the house. What do I do? Well, nothing happens basically for about 3 months till you actually get the keys. And yeah, then you kind of have to like start it all up again when you want to do another deal. And you have to go through the whole process of kind of, you know, the big boulder rolling again.
Yeah, and there's always the worry that actually the deal that you've been working on could fall over at any minute.
Yep.
Which has happened to all of us. You know, vendors pull out of the deal because their chain might have, you know, changed and all different reasons, some valid, some not so much. But we've all had deals pulled from under us. And yeah, when you haven't got a pipeline to look back at, it's a bit like, oh, right. Oh, I've just wasted a bit of time there. And as you say, lost a bit of, not goodwill, but lost a bit of momentum.
Exactly. It's kind of like, you know, you've got to keep the ball rolling. It's quite a good analogy, I think, to use with this. It's like quite hard to get the ball rolling. You know, imagine a big boulder you're trying to push. You know, that's all the hard work of like the first few weeks of getting out to your investment area, doing all the viewings and getting to know the agents, all that hard work. But once the ball's rolling, you got to keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you've got to start all over again. And, as you say, you've lost the momentum and you need to work extra hard to kind of get it all moving again.
Yeah. And I think there's two reasons probably why people do it. I think one is that they become task orientated, very human reaction to things. The second is, and I hear this quite a lot, well, what if I put 5 offers in and get all 5 accepted? It's like, oh, panic. And and I think people are too scared once they've got a deal in conveyancing or in negotiation, they're too scared to then go and offer on other things because they're thinking, well, what if it got accepted?
Yeah, and it's a really kind of understandable reaction, I think, when you're starting out. And we've all actually been through that process.
Yeah.
And reality is that if you put in 5 offers, if you get all 5 accepted, you've probably done something wrong, and you should probably go back and check your numbers because it's so unlikely to happen. You've probably made a mistake if that does happen.
That's true. Yeah. And I think people, can often even sabotage their own negotiations sometimes on that as well, can't they? They'll offer too low just so they don't ever get it accepted.
Yes, it's a real thing. And you'd think it's amazing, but it does happen, this kind of conscious or sometimes subconscious self-sabotaging, because it can be a bit scary getting your first one done, I think.
Yeah. So we're saying just try and work on yourself and don't have that fear overriding all of your actions. You need to keep out there, need to keep talking to all of your agents. But of course, the agents aren't the only funnel into our pipeline, are they? So we know we have to keep the pipeline going, even when we're working on a negotiated deal. But what are the sources of property? Like, where do we go to find them and to keep that momentum and that stone rolling?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is, you can't just rely on the websites, right? Zoopla, they serve a purpose, and we all know, we've given many examples of how there's so much off market. I honestly think that once you get your offers out, maybe you get one accepted, now's the time to double down. We'll talk about kind of a timeline in a bit, I think, as well. But yeah, it's about, okay, well, look, that worked. What I did worked. So let's up the level. Let's do more of what worked. But let's also, once we've got, the agents, who know us, then it's to start looking at all the off-market opportunities that there are. And there's just so many ways, we've talked a lot about talking to people, and that's really, really important. Just the more you're in your area talking, I think we talked about various examples you and I have had, whereby just having a chat with someone in like a sandwich shop or coffee shop leads to opportunities. So there's all of that stuff you can be doing. And, the more you nail down your area, you can start leaflet dropping. There's a whole strategy, but you've got to do that properly. We can maybe talk a little bit about, you're the marketing guru, Sarah, of the team. So we can talk a little bit about some marketing mindset stuff and strategies. But yeah, there's leaflet dropping, there's door stopping. Sometimes, you're driving past something and you see something that looks like in your area that could work. Knock the door, knock the neighbours' doors. There's all these kind of things. What else can people?
We were chatting the other day with one of our This Property Life members, who's an estate agent in Edinburgh, I think it was. And he was saying, and we asked him the question, how many of your properties get sold off market? They never even hit Rightmove, Zoopla on the market. And he said 25%. And I think that's probably a standard-ish percentage of properties. So before we even look at direct to vendor stuff, your estate agents that you're all dealing with, only 75% of the properties that they've got in front of them are heading to the portals. So first off, get in front of, them and say, well, I know you're selling off market to a little black book. How do I get a piece of that and find out what criteria they look for? Generally, it is credibility, certainty, and having good clarity of what you're after. Because if they've got a property that they need to move quickly, they're going to go to the little black book first. So that's number one, I think.
Well, I'm just going to add another word in there: consistency.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, if they've never met you before and you turn up and go, right, how do I get into your little book of contacts? They'll deny the existence of it. But if they've seen you for the last 3 months, viewing, offering, following up, viewing, offering, following up, and then that's when you can get the intro into the little secret room where they have the book of contacts.
So there's the off market that your estate agents do. Auctions, I don't personally buy at auction, but I've spoken to lots of people who make that their strategy, but they only buy pre and post auction. So the auction houses are an amazing source of information. They have so much data. Check out the podcasts that we've done with auctioneers in the past, because there's such a wealth of information on there that's another avenue for properties. But generally it'll be pre or post auction.
Yeah, I mean, I think in 20 odd years, we've never bought anything at auction.
Yeah.
We have sold at auction, but we've never bought in the room, because what we try and teach in our networks and our groups is you've got to take emotion out of it. And auctions are designed to create emotion. The whole process of an auction in the room is to induce people to buy with their emotions. And we've got to take that out. So as you say, it's only ever pre or post. You'd never, well, okay, I'm not going to say never, but extremely rarely would you want to be buying in the room.
Yeah, absolutely. Third sort of formal avenue that I was going to talk about was letting agents. So especially your independent letting agent who is only lettings, then those guys are often sell. And I don't think, a lot of amateur investors realise they are dealing with their landlords day in, day out. And their landlords might say to them, oh, I'm retiring, or, I'm this, I'm that, and I want to sell up. They will try and sell that property so that they can keep the management of it. And obviously they make a fee on that sale as well. And they will go straight to existing landlords that they've got, or people in their network that they know about. So be in their network.
I think it's really, really relevant and a great point. I think a lot of people forget about the letting agents, just compartmentalize, people into certain, areas and remits as, well, they just do my lettings, and you kind of forget what else they do. The fact that all they do all day is talk to landlords. Really big part of your sourcing opportunities comes from landlords, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And
then you've got your kind of periphery guys. So you've got your solicitors, your accountants, other, mortgage brokers, even, other people that in your power team who are dealing with other landlords. Because if you make it known that you're in the market, and then they hear about it from one of their other, clients, we are natural recruiters. We like to put a solution with an answer, and if we can help do that, then that's the thing that we'll do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and if you're in Scotland, then solicitors sell properties as well, and often the ones they sell are from probate sales, so estate sales, because they get the contract to do the probate, and often that comes with a property. And so you'll find some great opportunities with solicitors in Scotland, because you might find the probate's being dealt with by a solicitor, say in Glasgow, and the property is somewhere in, West Lothian somewhere that they don't really know about. So they don't really know how to market it. Yeah. Often these properties are distressed, and the great opportunities to pick up some bargains through the solicitors. So yeah, it's all about talking to everyone. It's doing all of it. I think doing all these things. I back in the day, Sarah, I used to have those little business cards with, but what we do, we buy houses, and on the back it had £1,000 on it. Remember those?
Yeah, I do.
And I do. They worked, because we used to give them out, but you give them out with £1,000 up, the £1,000 side to somebody, and then the first thing goes, what's that? What's £1,000? You go, well, yeah, we buy properties. If you know of anyone that's selling and we buy it, I'll give you £1,000 finder's fee. Why wouldn't I? And that worked. We bought more than one, definitely. Back in the day, we bought a couple of houses through that.
Yeah. And, you can go guerrilla marketing on that and put those business cards up in the local shops. People see a card with £1,000 written on it. They're like, what's that about? They put two up, one on the back with the 1,000 and one's facing forward with the detail. Put flyers up, talk to little, local convenience stores. Can I put something up on your newsletter, on your news board? I always recommend people to get their hair cut or their legs waxed or their eyebrows done in their investment area, to talk to the people that are doing that, because they have a regular trade of people coming through their doors who talk a lot. Whenever you're having your hair done, you will talk. They're therapists, hairdressers, the same as beauticians and all of that sort of stuff. And, they'll say, oh, we're really struggling to sell Aunt Beryl's house because, of this. And if you've told that person, oh, I buy houses, and if people are struggling, I'll look at them and see if I can help. They're going to go, oh, I know who you should speak to.
It's doing all of those things, because one of those things might just come off, and that's a house that's going to pay you thousands of pounds over the course of its life with you, if you like. So it's just doing everything you can, really, taking this really seriously as a business, and not just, if you find yourself just sitting back, checking in with Rightmove once a day, you're doing about 5% of what you need to be doing if you want to be successful at this, I think.
Yeah.
So it's about keeping that pipeline going. So, when you have got offers out, that's not the time to sit back and wait for something to happen. That's the time to go, great, my offers are out. What do I do next? Go back and view some more properties. How can I expand my knowledge of this area? How can I find more opportunities off market? You bank your offers. If they come off, great. They won't all 5 come off, guaranteed 100%, right? One might, brilliant. Okay. But you need to keep filling that funnel. Otherwise your offers will dry up and you go, oh, this doesn't really work. It's like, well, it does work, because if you got 5 offers out and you get 1 accepted, it definitely works. You've just got to keep that rolling, keep that going and building that pipeline. So the pipeline, as we kind of think about it, is you should have something going on at every stage. So you should have something that is, you got something rented out, but you got the next one behind it is maybe at refurb stage. One behind that, you've got some offers out. Behind that, you've got a whole load of viewings lined up. So it's just thinking about that pipeline, everything kind of just, in an ideal world, shuffles. It's not an ideal world, but you know what I mean? Everything kind of just shuffles along the pipeline. But if you stop doing all the viewings, everything stops.
Yes. Yeah. And I think also you have to choose a system that works for you to keep control and to monitor all of this as well. So, back in the day, people were using those concertina files, with bits of paper in them. That's moved on. People weren't spreadsheets. Now that's moved on. People are going to apps. Whatever works for you guys, choose a system where you can constantly monitor and go, oh, it's been 4 weeks since I caught up with that person about that property. I'm going to now get in touch to either see, did the sale go through? Are they ready to sell? Whatever the question is around that particular property. But if you haven't got a way of organizing that data and making sure that your KPI is to check that regularly, you're going to miss out on opportunity.
More organized investors than you will pick them up.
Yeah, I think.
So pipeline, really, really important. I was just going to just talk to you about timeline as well. So I do get, a lot of people coming through and starting off in our network saying, well, okay, I've got my offers in, I've had something accepted. Brilliant. What happens next? So we've talked about the importance of going back to the beginning and keeping your pipeline going. But in terms of a timeline of what actually happens once an offer's been accepted. So it might actually be a little while before you physically get the keys, particularly if you're buying with a mortgage or bridging. So as soon as an offer's accepted, then it then goes into your process. So, you'll need to have your solicitors organized. Solicitors start talking to each other and talking to the agent if it's through an agent. And you need to start getting your finance organized. If you haven't already, you should already have teed up your mortgage brokers so they know it's coming, and then they can start that mortgage process. But what's the average mortgage process at the moment, or finance process, Sarah, in terms of timeline at the moment?
Oh God, I would say it's got to be at least 2 to 3 months in England, I'm finding.
Same as Scotland. I think it's no different in Scotland. The process is very slightly different, but not massively different. But yeah, so if you are using finance, even bridging that says it's really quick, it's not. It's not that quick. Like a mountain of paperwork to sign. So as soon as you get an offer accepted, nothing's happening particularly quickly. You've still got probably the best part of 3 months before you actually get the keys.
Yeah, and that's, to be fair, that's if you're lucky. I mean, I've had, conveyancing go on for 6 months with no chains involved anywhere.
Yeah, fortunately, I've never had it that bad, but it has been, regularly 3-4 months to get a pretty simple house purchase done. Nothing complicated. In fact, actually, with commercial stuff, it's often quicker. Yeah, buying our commercial buildings has actually been quicker than just buying a house, amazingly.
Yeah. So there's a lot of time when you could be out building that pipeline, isn't it?
Exactly, because if you wait 3 months until you get the keys, you just lost all that good work that you've done. You will have to start from scratch, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so bear that in mind when you're thinking about timelines. It's 3 months and you get the keys. As soon as you get the keys, that really should go straight to the builder. Contractor who's going to go in and renovate. And your letting agent should be aware of that and know what the deadline is for finishing, and everything. You should be aiming to get everything set up so that you get that property finished and rented out as soon as possible. But you don't wait until you've done all of that before you start looking for number 2.
Yeah,
I think that is
yes.
the crux.
Sequencing is important.
Yes,
indeed.
Otherwise, you'll buy one house a year. And we want to teach you how to do more than just one a year and help and support you to do more than that.
And talking about support, I would just like to, just highlight to people what this property life is, because we are more than just a podcast. We are a networking group behind that podcast. We have a member base who tune in every Monday to our Property Pulse live Zooms, where we get lots of different property experts on to talk to them about anything from auctions to the finance updates to market updates to any kind of strategy in there. And it's just really inspiring, practical advice every single week from someone new. And then we have quarterly networks as well, where we all meet up in person. We'll have speakers. It's just a really good group of people coming together to talk about property and support each other, isn't it? There's no upsell, there's no nothing apart from really good value.
We have a lot of people that come regularly to network and they get huge amounts out of it. As you've said, we have some great speakers, and it's just a really nice opportunity for people who are often out on their own, maybe, feeling a bit isolated, to come and network with people that are maybe in a similar boat, and they can, get some support and help and friendship out of it. Sarah said that, there's no upsells to anything else. It's purely a networking and supportive group behind this podcast. So that sounds good. How does anyone get in contact with Sarah to maybe come along and meet us at a networking event?
Yeah, I mean, send us a DM on any of the social media channels, either to myself, Sarah Blaney, so Sarah in Property on Instagram, or to Nick on Instagram. LinkedIn is a great one to contact either of us on, or just head to our website, which is thispropertylife.co.uk. Go to the membership section and sign up. We'll give everyone 2 months free at the very beginning, so you can just come along, test us out, see what it's all about, meet some good people, and then join the gang.
Absolutely. And our next networking in person is 5th of July.
It is 5th of July, but I think this episode will probably go out after that, so it's going to be, I believe, the first week in November.
Yes, if this comes out after, I'm not sure. Probably will be. So 1st of November, that'll be our next one in person. But as Sarah said, we have our weekly Zooms, and we have a whole load of support behind that as well. So we have a whole resource pack gained over 20 odd years of doing this out in the real world. So we've got a huge amount of support in terms of power team contacts and all sorts of other bits and pieces that anyone out there investing can I'm sure will find very useful. So do come join us, and we will see you soon on the next one.
Thank you.